Well, what are you waiting for? Come on. Nice. Now most places aren't going to be, look at this, I'm standing and I'm barely able to reach the top there. I got nice bit of headroom here, and then it tapers on down. Most people don't have this, but hey, whatever your underneath your house is, I'm sure you can get down to it. Okay, well, I've got the light up here, and I'm just gonna kind of get up in here. See all this wood, and here's one of those pieces of wire, and I'll save that. Remember, that's holding up the insulation. When they put that insulation up, they take a wire, and they could have cut these a little shorter, and then they kind of loop them, and they just kind of poke them on the wood, and it's just friction that holds that. See, I can just lift that off and put it up in there. Okay, but here's what I was talking about. See, here's all these copper pipes here. Now look, here they put the foam tubing on here, and this is where the split is, like that. That's how you put it on, and they've got it on this one, and this one, going back over to here, across, all the way across over there. Do you see that? So why did they stop? I don't know why they stopped. You know, I would have thought maybe they just do it on the hot water side, or maybe you know, depending on your house, if you live in a really cold area, you might want to put them on the cold water lines as well, and underneath the house in a different area. Remember, we saw all of the pipes, hot and cold pipes were all done with this piping, and you can buy it at Home Depot. Any hardware type store probably should have it, and it comes either 8-foot lengths or 10-foot lengths. And see, there's different types of pipes here. This is 3/4 inch here. Here's 1/2 inch. They also have 5/8. I think that one could be 5/8 of an inch, and this is 1/2 inch, and this is 3/4. Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that out and measure while I'm down here, so I get the right size stuff at the store. And I'm glad I didn't go to the store. Remember, I was thinking about going to the store when I went underneath the house the first time, and I thought, no, I'll wait until I get everything done, because there might be some more things that need to be done, and sure enough there is. Kind of like these supports on this ABS. It's a long pipe, and then it's just a zip, kind of like a zip tie, and they set that in there, they zip it around, and then this has holes on it on the side, and then they just screwed it in or nailed it in. And there was an extra one that they had, and I'm going to keep it. I threw it on down there. Now the lighting's not very good. I threw it on down there, and I might save that for something. Now see, here is a clean out in case the line ever gets clogged up. Every once in a while they'll put a clean out like that underneath the house. See there's a big huge clean out right there, and that probably goes out. That could be the exterior wall there, which I think it is, and then it goes out beyond there, and so they probably have another clean out. Usually they have a clean out on the other side, you know, up next to your house somewhere, but for some reason they decided to put a big huge clean out there too, that they could snake out later, you know, if they ever needed to. I'm not sure what that's right there for, but yeah, there's another piece of wood. I'll have to grab that. There's another little piece up there. What I'm kind of wondering is, do they have any insulation in this bay here where this pipe is? And my guess is that they don't. And if they don't, I'll have to measure for that. Look at there, nothing. I can still get the insulation up in there and fish it up above those pipes. and that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to have to measure that whole bay. But see, all 3 pipes in here has the foam on it. Look at that. The inspector sure missed that one, didn't he? 'Cause that's all supposed to have insulation. You get an insulation, floor insulation inspection before they install the floor. That way an inspector doesn't have to crawl underneath the house. And maybe they had it, and maybe they forgot to install these copper lines for some unknown reason, or the inspector just missed it, or he said, hey, make sure you put insulation on there, up there before you cover, and I'll go ahead and pass it. I'm taking your word that you're going to do it. Oh yes, oh yes, Mr. Inspector. Oh yes, we'll do that. Don't worry about that. And then after the inspector passed, they snickered and said, we're not going to do that. Screw that. We don't have any more insulation, and we're not going to do it. Bye-bye. And that's kind of how things like that work. Hey, there's some more wood there. And that piece of insulation needs to just be propped up in there. I don't know how that came down, but it did. Okay, so I'm going to have to push that up. And I'm not sure if I'm going to see any creepy crawlers down here. We had one rat we caught up in that other area. If you saw that video where we had the rat traps, we caught one over there. I haven't seen anything here, but when we first moved in, there was rat poison that the current owner had kind of thrown out down here, and which leads me to believe they had some activity once upon a time. And look at these things. You ever seen these before? This is a 10-shot load that you put in a nail gun, and they left these extra ones down here, well, the ones that they shot anyways, and they didn't pick them up, so I'll pick those up. Sometimes they'll use those when they're shooting down mud plate, but most of the time the mud seal that has anchor bolts on it, see right there where that anchor bolt and washer is, there's another one there, there's another one over there. And usually when you do stem wall footings and stuff, you always put those expansion bolts or those foundation bolts in there. And every once in a while, if something gets missed, they might have to shoot a concrete nail down or something. Okay, all right. So I'm going to do some stuff up in there, and then we'll inspect some more. All right. Stick around. Oh, I'm glad that's over with. Hey, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.